Welcome to Toffee TV. This video is brought to you in association with The Athletic, where you can currently get a 7-day trial and 50% off your yearly subscription. Why wouldn't you do that? You're at home, you're bored, or you're in work and you're bored, or you're just bored. You need something to read. You get 7 days, and then it's up to you what you want to do afterwards. Let them convince you. Let them convince you. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Exactly.
Got some great writers on there. Everton have got Paddy Boyle and Greg O'Keefe, two excellent local writers, so you know the story's coming straight from the heart of everything that's going on. They've got a podcast as well, Glad Tidings, see what they did there. And they've got good writers for all sports as well. Loads of football, as I said, some great sources, but other sports as well. A lot of American sports where it started from there. No pop-ups, just good stories, no messing about. So if you want to do that, the link is in the description, and we're going to be talking about one of those stories that they've been writing in the last week or so. It is how Everton have been coping under isolation, under the COVID-19 isolation situation. Now, obviously, a couple of weeks ago now, Everton revealed that one of the players had symptoms.
Showing symptoms.
Yeah, and had isolated. There's been nothing since then. There's been no confirmation who the player was or whether he had it. I imagine he did.
I don't think he did.
He didn't have it. But obviously that meant that Everton were one of the first teams to reveal that the Premier League obviously was halted a couple of weeks ago. And since then, obviously, we've been coming up with all kinds of theories and speculation on when it's going to come back and how it's going to come back. But people forget this middle part where footballers who are used to having a daily routine, going into Finch Farm, training, going home, eating the right things, doing all that kind of good thing, and then being in good habits. Suddenly they're left to their own devices, and some of these players are, young internationals who, someone like Richarlison is maybe stuck in a flat in wherever he lives, and he's got his dogs for company, but it must take its toll, mustn't it? That mental side thing of not doing what you do every day, that routine.
Yeah, it's a routine they'll have had since they were 16, isn't it? And obviously you mentioned people like Richarlison there. I think he's in a house, isn't he, in Crosby with his garden, because he's out there having shots with his Brazil top on.
Yeah.
But yeah, the daily routine, obviously, we're trying to talk about this because there is a lot of stuff going on in the world currently with the pandemic, but there's another side to it. It's football, it isn't important in general, of course it isn't, and that's why the stories of it returning and all that are balmy at the moment, but it is important for a lot of people just when things calm back down, and this stuff will have to run, will have to be twin-tracked almost with what's going on, so that when it's time for these lads to come back and start training again, as things ramp back up, then they have to be as fit as they can be. This will be, of course, the longest break most of them will have probably ever had since they became professional footballers. That's what it's looking like now. And you're right, there's players there who will just be on their own. You think of people like Moise Keane, who's only just come to this country. He's only been here been here about 8 to 9 months now, hasn't he? And he still isn't fully settled in the Everton team and stuff like that. He's in and out, and young lad, only 20, Italian, outside of his own country, where it's at a terrible time. So you'd have that effects, and there's lots of young players like that. We've seen Mason Holgate talking about he went back home to live with his mum and dad while this is going on, and he's being worried about upsetting his mum by leaving dishes in the kitchen and stuff and facing the wrath of his mum. But so it's okay, it's better for people like that, but obviously for the people like you say, like Richarlison, I know he's got some family with him, and Moise Keane, I guess, has got a friend or some family with him as well. But it's not the same, is it, of going in training every day at Finch Farm. And so Everton have had to come up with, as I'm quite sure every Premier League or every football club has, ways to keep these lads not only fit but also motivated as well. And they're all having to wear the bras, the GPS bra thing, vest thing. They're having to wear that because they've all been given individual training programs, which again the article talks about. they've been given them. We've seen a lot of Theo Walcott on Instagram or whatever doing his workouts with kitchen utensils and stuff like that in the garden. But I quite like that about Theo, because he could have easily gone, look at my plush gym with this, you know, all of this gear that costs hundreds of thousands of pounds, but he's not. He's doing the plank with tins of soup and things like that, and I thought that was quite good, because he's showing people who are at home, look, you can do what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything massively fancy. Of course, there'll be all the other time he is, but I thought that's quite important, because we're all looking for stuff. If people are stuck at home, you know, when you see someone like Theo Walcott, who's a Premier League footballer, doing this kind of thing. It's a bit of humility. Of course, and you think, oh, well, I can do that. I've got, if you can get tins of food and start the shop. But, you know, I've got that there, and I've got kitchen utensils, and I can do the plank, and I can do sit-ups and stuff like that. So that is good. But on the bigger picture of that, the key thing from this is all of that data is fed back in to the Everton backroom staff, and they're able to monitor what people are doing in terms of, you know, programme-wise, and where they are at the fitness levels, because it's just come to a stop, hasn't it? Yeah. You know, that they weren't expecting.
And your body will just stop as well. Like, it doesn't take much to lose that fitness.
No.
You know, I know these are honed athletes and that, you know, but one of the reasons why they will be getting monitored so closely is because it can just leave you. And, you know, if you're sitting at home and you can't do that kind of exercise, obviously these lads are not special in terms of being able to go out or go and do anything else. They're under the same, you know, lockdown precautions as the rest of us. So it doesn't take long to just pile the pounds on and lose that little bit of extra. I know, listen, they'll be back before they know it, and they'll be finding those little wins, but depending on when they come back and depending on how long they have from when they do come back to when they have to start playing, that all has to be ready to go. You know, you know, that, as you're just saying there, if they're getting tracked, at least now the backroom staff can tailor probably tailor programs for them while they are on lockdown. You know, you should be doing more of this. Can you do more of this? What have you been doing there to make that happen? Could you do more of this for us? And then when they do get back, it's like, right, we've got to do this, and we've got to do this, and we've got to do this. But you've been better than him, so you don't have to do that. You do extra this, and you do more of that. And it just shows you now how the sport has just completely gone up to a completely different level now. It's on
a totally different level, but they've got all of that stuff. I mean, Walcott's been one who's been using the Peloton bikes. We can have preloaded workouts on it and different things. I think the article says is Mrs. Melanie introduced him to it, and he's obsessed with it now. But you can get all kinds of programs downloaded with Dan. A few of the players have got those. We've seen a video of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I think, last week doing gym work. You know, lots of gym. I mean, he looks like he's in incredible shape anyway. But if you don't do something for 2 or 3 weeks, no matter how fit you are, your body stops. It's why players will have like a month off after a major tournament, come back and then look sluggish for the first few weeks.
I mean, we can remember when footballers used to come back 2 stone overweight. And that's why the first couple of weeks of training...
Remember Ashley Williams' belly a few years ago?
No, but we we used to remember like the first 2 weeks of pre-season training where all the sand dunes running and all the long distance and all the army camps and all the throwing up. For that very reason, because people would just let themselves go, and maybe their fitness in the first place wasn't great. But we've seen in games how many times have you watched the game and gone, he's not fit he's not fit today. There's something off. Where they've been out for a little bit and brought back, and you know, we've seen it with Andre. We've seen Andre Gomez against Chelsea. We've seen how far off the pace he really is compared to players who are fully at it.
Yeah, he's there, and ability-wise he's there, and he's able to get on the ball and still pass the ball around. But in terms of being up to Premier League speed and getting above the pitch and putting tackles in and being able to just run up and down, he's well off it, and he's been training every day. So it shows you that if you lose, you know, the intensity, that's what it is. I mean, the thing I read last week, Mason Holgate was saying he's got a battle with the biscuits in every time he goes in the kitchen, because it's just there. They're not bored because they're not being able to do what they normally do, and go and have a cup of tea and there's a biscuit there, and he's like, I've got to remember that I can't just keep eating them because I want to. Do you know what I mean? Whereas probably what he said was, and he's right, is that when you're fit and you're training every day, you can have a few of them. Don't do anything to you. Don't do anything to you, but he's still doing his training, but it's not at the same intensity. So they've got to watch that. I mean, there's a lot, I think, for footballers, and this isn't a big thing, bleating about footballers, they are what they are. There's people in much worse things, but we're just talking because this is a football channel for a start. They go out and play golf and stuff. I know a few of them are running at the moment to go, they're using their daily allowance of exercise to go running to try to keep that up. But it's all the tactical stuff, and it's all the intense training that they're missing out on. And this is why sometimes it's hilarious when people go, they'll just be able to come back and be ready to play in a week. And it's like, I know Carlo Ancelotti, there was a thing on our website the other day, he'd done an interview with Carella dello Sport in Italy, and he was like, players, I remember with Milan, Cafu come back and played within 24 hours and was fine in the qualifier, these players are fit, and you're like, but if they haven't trained for 6 weeks, say, before you go back to training, they're gonna need something. The racehorses. He might be saying that thinking, but his backroom staff and physical side of it, trainers will be going.
And footballers will still have that same intensity, where they'll want to still work as hard in a game. Imagine Richarlison was like a little bit, wasn't quite on it, but would still put the same effort
still
in.
Running around, yeah.
But then he'll pull a muscle then. He'll get an injury by trying to do something because his body's not completely ready for it. Yeah. So, it works both ways, doesn't it? There's the physical side and the mental side as well. The mental side, I think, will be just as tough, if not even tougher, for some of these lads.
Yeah, you said it before, the lads who are away from the family, younger, and particularly, and this is something the article does mention, is particularly the younger players. And what I mean by that is like the scholars, the 17, 18-year-olds who are away from home, who aren't from the Northwest, have moved here, and maybe didn't get home in time, before the self, because they didn't know where they were up to. And a few of them are still up here in digs or whatever. The club has been good in terms of, and I'm sure every club does this, but being in touch with them lads and making sure they're okay and how they feel, and because the mental side of the game is massively important. And for someone like Richarlison, who is a little bit older than that, you can see what he's like. We've had Andre Gomez making films of himself in the garden to keep, and that's early on. We've got Richarlison as a kit on, is out every day doing, playing footy on his own, and as like a little kid, looks like my 9-year-old in the garden celebrating when he scores, and because for them lads, it's a way of life, isn't it? They want to be out training. We've had the stuff, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Jordan Pickford for FIFA, on FIFA all the time, and popping up playing games against people who are online because they want to, away from the training, they've got to keep their minds active. There's the WhatsApp group, which is mentioned, where the players are constantly trying to have that banter to keep it going. We've had Carlo Ancelotti talking about what he's doing. He loves Netflix and walking on Crosby Beach, counting all the statues, Anthony Gormley and all of that kind of stuff. So they are trying to keep their minds active, but I suppose as it goes on and on, like I said before, it'll be the longest break some of these players have ever had from football. Since they came into the professional side of it at the age of 16.
It's unprecedented, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's fully unprecedented, and
with no end in sight.
No, and with that's the tough part, I imagine, for these people is, everyone's facing that battle at the moment. Everyone, no matter what you're doing, whether you're at home, whether you've got to work, obviously even 10 times, 15 times, a million times worse if you're in the NHS and you're on the front line. It's obviously it's a completely different game then. But for footballers, certainly we look at them and we just think, oh, they've got it all. But they've got it all in. They've got it all, but they've also they love this. You can tell how footballers. Richarlison's got to be like the biggest one for us, because you can just tell how much he wants to be part of things. He loves. He's always putting videos on. He's always, you see him you see him having, doing FIFA, as you said. When he gets a chance, he'll fly home to his family. And we've seen that with other players from other teams. I think Sons flew home to South Korea, which is mad.
And Williams gone back
to Brazil. So, but it's something it's something obviously Everton aren't letting do, and it's probably gone too late now. But it is what it is, and hopefully.
I mean, the one aspect of it that I suppose has been highlighted, a positive side of it has been the Blue Family stuff that Everton have done with Everton in the community. The phone calls to people who were lonely or people who were ill. I mean, we've seen Carlo Ancelotti do it, we've seen Moise Keane do it, we've seen Michael Keane, we've seen Mason Holgate, people like that have phoned people and let them know. I think Bill Kenwright's done one as well, and Denise Barrett-Baxendale. So the club have reached out to them people, and then there's obviously the Blue Mile stuff, which covers Anfield, Walton, Kirkdale, Everton, which is for vulnerable people, and the club have made sure that food parcels have gone out to these people who are vulnerable. And what people forget in this is in that area, it's one of the most deprived areas. That ward, those wards, 60% of the kids in those wards rely on free school meals or breakfast club. And I've seen a couple of people, a couple of divvies on Twitter ripping people who need free school meals and stuff like that. These are vital to these people in their lives, and the fact that Everton are able to, and these people are able to deliver food parcels and just make sure that vulnerable people who are maybe on their own, the elderly, have got someone to chat to, or they're able to get that stuff. That's a massive part of what is brilliant about our football club, making sure that they do access, give access to those people and help those people who are vulnerable, because it's footy and we all love it and we all miss it, but like I said before, it's a game at the end of the day. But the other side, where the football club can touch people and help people, is with the food parcels and the company side of it, in terms of conversation with those people and helping kids who, something I saw when I worked in social care, if you're not in that situation, you kind of take it for granted that you've got food and you can go and do whatever, or you've got bedding on, clean bedding, and you've got this, that and the other. But when you actually work in that field and you go out and see it with your own eyes, you properly do, you're shocked like that. At first you are, and then obviously it just becomes normal to you. So it's great that our football club can go out and help those people, and especially in this, like you said before, unprecedented times, unbelievably strange and worrying times for a lot of people.
Yeah, of course.
For all of us, it's scary. We've all got people who, we've said it before, we've got vulnerable people in our family, so it's very, and that's right the way across the board, right the way across the world. It's a real strange time. So.
Yeah, and as you mentioned there, the stuff with like the Blue Family stuff it's at the end of the day, it's such a small little thing, but it goes so far. Those things just go so far. Whether it be, like you said, players getting in touch with fans, the club doing little things like halting the season tickets, all those little, even like Saturday afternoon having the game on as live and things like that, and allowing, we did a watch along as just a way of just having a chat about the game. Do you know what I mean? Because you're watching the social interaction with it. And obviously Everton are doing it very professionally in a way by having like Darren doing the commentating.
Oh, yeah.
But there's also like that social side of it where you're like, well, people are talking about this. It brings, ultimately what football does is it brings people together. It gives people a reason to be together. Now, that's like the most basic thing. You're seeing people now, we talk to lads like Kane, who goes on Hans tours, and he's like, I'm just missing going to the match. I'm missing being with my friends. I'm missing that experience. It's not about football, it's a thing that's round it. It's the experience. It might be
like Derek, who's in a care home.
Exactly,
he gets out to go to match and sees people.
Goes on the coach from Southport to Goodison as a good chat. Might be the only time of the week he has that chat, and then after the game has a chat about it. Come on and talk to us about it when we do our live shows. Football is for me, football is get to see members of my family, some of my friends, every couple of weeks or whatever. The bit in the middle can be just forgotten about 5-10 minutes after the game. depending on what the game is. You don't want to be like that. You want to love it, but it can be, you know, and that's what something like that, where, as I was saying, like putting a live game on, is people are talking about it. Oh, remember, I've never seen this. Oh, that's mad, isn't it? And then you get that social interaction where we've all been missing. So people, the club doing that, the club, as I said, having people ringing up, people, you know, the bedtime stories, little things like that. They're all people might.
How good's Luca Dean, by the way, doing that? Imagine one of our English players going abroad and reading a bedtime story in French or Spanish or whatever. It's brilliant. So it is brilliant. You're right, the club, fantastic, that kind of thing, absolutely fantastic. And if you can do one little thing that helps people, and some people, then outstanding, because like you said before, this is unprecedented times and very scary times for a lot of people.
Did you take anything else out of the article just before we finish?
No, it's well put together article, loads of no, it is, but it's a behind the scenes thing for people to just go, when you've got time and you know you sat there to read and just have a look at how, because it's in, you know, football, like you said before, it's important to a lot of people. It's the most watched game and, you know, the biggest sport in the world. And for a lot of people, it's I
don't think we have to apologise for that, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. So that is a big chunk of people's lives. The health thing is you know, the logistics of whether it's okay to bring it back, and people panicking to try to get it back quickly. No, we'll bring it back when it's safe and we're safe to do so. But that doesn't mean that we have to not mention it and not speak about it and not discuss great things we've seen and hopefully great things we'll see again in the future. They're all important parts of it, aren't they? And what the article does is it peels the curtain back a little bit and goes, look, all this is going on. You know, we've seen things like Danny Donachie having his lad doing yoga stuff, saying, look, you can do this at home, basic stuff, it'll make you feel good. We've had the People's Grub, one of Everton's nutritionists, the other day saying, look, this is how you can have a nutrition, you know, a meal like a player and blah, blah, and do it this way, prepare it. So all of them are good little insights from the club, who are accepting that they have to come up with stuff as well to try to keep people interested and also give people a bit more information and give people something to watch, because ultimately a lot of people are stuck at home.
Yeah, they're playing their part.
Exactly. So, you know, it's all a big, you know, it's a big thing. I couldn't think of the right word for it, but we're all part of it.
We're all, Blue family. We're all part of the Blue family.
And the wider, you know, football family, I suppose, if you want to call it that. You know, because we get a lot of people watching us who aren't Evertonians as well. So it is, we're all in it. We're all in this together, as High School Musical said, I guess.
Yeah.
Good Disney. I've got Disney Plus, haven't I? So it's on the mind.
It's not something I've ventured into.
But that's up to you.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Give it a couple of weeks, lad.
No,
give it a couple of weeks.
Not a chance. Not a chance on it.
Yeah.
There you go. Let us know your thoughts on that. Don't forget to check the article out on The Athletic. As I said, 7-day trial followed by 50% off your annual subscription if you choose to take it. The link is in the description. As we said, some fantastic writers on there. And check that out. Don't forget, if you haven't give this video a like, do so, or Baz will be angry. Gets very angry. If you haven't subscribed, please do. The link is in the thing to click the bell. And if you want to join us on Patreon, where we do lots more videos, lots of live videos to keep you entertained in real time, the link is in the description for that. See you later.